Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube reviewing headphones, and although I don't buy those very often, I did have to replace my pair recently, so I thought, yeah, let's actually do a review of these things. Now, up to this point, I've gone through a lot of pairs of cheap little earbuds, and most recently, the last pair I got, which are these, have been great. These are the Sony MD-REX 10LP earbuds. That's quite a mouthful. These are great. They have awesome sound. They're not very expensive, maybe 20 bucks. And they've been working really great for me. Unfortunately, after about 6 to 8 months, the same old problem that always happens has happened to these. Being plugged in and out all the time and being wound up and thrown in my pocket has worn out the actual wire. I mean, the speakers themselves still sound great, but something in here is now broken and only one of the actual earbuds is making any sound. I've tried jiggling the cable and it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't. I'm a bit disappointed about that too, because these were a really good pair of headphones. And I even thought to myself, you know what I'm going to do is try and be a bit environmentally friendly. Instead of constantly throwing away earbuds every 6 months, why don't I see, now that I've got a good pair, if I can jury-rig some kind of a solution when the wire inside breaks. And I thought to myself, well, why don't I snip the end off here and replace it with this, which I got on Amazon for about 10 bucks. It's a little wired connector. You can actually screw in the wires there, and then plug it in, and that'll actually act as a replacement for this. And that way I'm not throwing away a pair of headphones every 6 months. Unfortunately, this doesn't quite work. The shape along the top here, it won't plug into the bottom of my iPod Touch, which is what I do the majority of my listening to as I go to and from work. So sadly, this nice little solution I had, I even tried shaving it down with my knife, this little solution I had just isn't going to work. So I need to get a replacement pair of headphones. Now, back before this set, I actually had some Bluetooth headphones, which were awesome. They had a little battery in the center. I mean, they looked pretty much like this, but after the length of wire, there was like this little battery pack. You just plug it in, recharge it, and it lasted a good long time. I think I'd go through several days without having to recharge the thing. And it worked for years. I was very, very happy. Unfortunately, then at one point, I had one of these pop off, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just clean the little speaker inside there. And after doing that, the speaker stopped working. So that Bluetooth pair of headphones I had to throw away, which I felt really bad about. And I couldn't find a replacement pair on eBay or anything. Like, nobody seems to sell that. Particularly, it was a Nokia brand, so maybe that's gone now. So the other disadvantage of Bluetooth earbuds, though, is that if you're traveling along and, like me, you want to play with your retro hardware, like you've got your Game Boy Advance Micro, or you've got your 3DS, you can't use Bluetooth with that. Like, you need something that actually plugs into the jack underneath. So, yeah, the Bluetooth realm, or the Bluetooth solution, just wasn't going to work. All right, you're thinking to yourself, but we've seen the thumbnail and the title of this video. We know you got yourself a Bluetooth headphone pair, so what's the explanation there? True, I did buy myself these Skullcandy branded Hesh 2 wireless headphones, and yes, they are Bluetooth. So how am I able to use these to play on my Micro and my 3DS? Well, the nice thing about these is they actually have a little wire as well, which is quite good. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to pick these up. These were actually at a very reasonable price. And I thought, okay, yeah, see, there's a backup cable right there. It says 15-hour battery life. I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to give these a whirl. And I've actually been pretty impressed. So let's do a full-on review of the Skullcandy Hesh 2 wireless headphones. Now, I've seen Skullcandy around in a lot of the local stereo shops. I thought they were kind of a more expensive brand. I mean, not quite Beats, but an upper kind of price tag pair of headphones. But these pair that I got, I mean, I've got the receipt right here. You can see it was $100. Like, this is actually a pretty reasonable price tag for a pair of headphones, considering those other ones were $20. I figure, well, if these things last about 5 times as long as the little earbuds, then yeah, they've already paid for themselves in price tag comparison. So what do you get in the box? Well, let's open it up. Inside we have that wire I was telling you about. And what's really nice is, in addition to being able to play in things like a Micro or a 3DS, this is a very thick, very durable wire. It's even got a little inline volume and pause button there, which I'll play around with in a minute. But these are not flimsy little wires that I think will break after a bit of use. These are very, very tough. I mean, they're still holding their shape there. This is after several months of use. So you get a nice wire in there. You've got a nice carrying case here, or little bag. Opens up to a pretty decent size. So there you go. You got a nice little thing to carry your headphones around with you. As mentioned, 15-hour battery life, and it charges with just standard, regular old USB, so that's great. We got various instructions and little how-to guides, that kind of stuff. And inside the packaging, here are the headphones. So they're pretty nice. They've got, you know, fake leathery type faux leather padding around the sides. They're not super fancy or anything like that. They got a little skull logo on the side there, but they're comfortable enough. Nice bit of adjustment here. If you've got a really large noggin like myself, you can actually make these fit quite well. I will say that after quite a long time of wearing them, there is a bit of a pinch. They're not terribly comfortable in that area, but I do like the fact there's a decent amount of adjustment there. Underneath, you can make out, there's the hole that the wire plugs into, and there's the little charging dock there for recharging it in there. On the other side, you have an on-off button, which also acts as a pause. You can actually, if somebody needs to ask you something, you can just very quickly tap that. It'll pause what you're listening to, and then when you're done, just very quickly tap it again, and it'll continue. And a nice embossed plus and minus to go volume up and down. And it's nice because you can just, as you're reaching there, you can feel, okay, that's a plus, that's a minus. So that's a really nice feature. And in addition, there's a very small hole. I don't know if you can make it out there. That's actually a microphone. Now, I haven't played around with that very much. Unfortunately, these Bluetooth headphones are not recognized by my PlayStation 4, so I can't really use them for like online gaming or anything. And I don't actually use a cell phone with headphone or hands-free. So this little thing, to be able to hear what the sound quality is like, I'm not too sure. But the fact that it's even there is actually very nice. As I mentioned, with the little wire here, there is a little connector that allows you to make changes. There's just a simple button there that you can press. It has a little skull icon. I don't know if you can make it out there. In the instructions here, it mentions that if you do a single click of that, you can take or make calls, assuming you had this paired with a cell phone. If you don't have it paired with a cell phone and you just click it once, it'll actually pause the bit of music you're listening to. If you click it twice, it'll actually go to the next track that you're listening to. If you click it 3 times, it'll go to the previous track. And if you press and hold it for a second, it's a mode command. I suppose you'd be able to do things such as, I don't know, ask Siri a question, that kind of stuff. So that's really nice that such a simple little interface, there's one little button, and all the little clicking it does, it works really well. I like that that feature is there. So to turn these on, for Bluetooth enabling, all you do is you hold the power button down for a couple seconds.
Connected.
And the lady's voice indicates, yes, we're connected, and it will do a constant blue blink there, just to indicate now in use. That's pretty good. When you're finished, just press it again. And now it's off. So what's the sound quality like? It's not bad. These are $100 headphones, which is, you know, it elevates them above the earbuds. But again, we're not talking like Beats type headphone sound quality here. The low frequencies rumble terrifically, and the very high frequencies tinkle great. The first thing I did was throw on a song that I always keep in my library, Stan Meisner's River of Fire. because it has both very deep, low sound in the music and also very high percussion stuff. So I always find that's one of the songs I like to listen to see just how good are a pair of speakers. My one complaint about these ones are the middle range is a bit flat. Voices and a lot of guitars and stuff in that middle range, there isn't too much dynamic pitch in the middle of the spectrum. So lows are great, highs are great, the middle, a little bit flat. Having said that, though, I was watching somebody on YouTube doing a review of headphones that are 2.5 times the price of these, and they had exactly the same comment. I can't remember what brand they were. And if I can find the video, I'll put a link down below. But I just thought, oh, okay, so you spent $250 on your pair of headphones. Yours don't work either for the mid-range. So, okay, I don't feel so bad on my $100 headphones here. That, plus the fact that they're a little tight on my head, are the only real negatives I have for this pair of headphones. I do like the fact that they are over-the-ear drum-style headphones, so there's no, like, feeling like something is stuck in my ear for long periods of time. And I also like the fact, and this is going to make me sound a bit of an unsociable person, but I really like the fact that when I've got these on, people don't interrupt me. They can see, oh, he's listening to something. I often get this strange experience with earbuds anyway, where if there's a whole lineup of people standing around and somebody needs to ask somebody a question, they seem to zero in on me, which is nice. Thank you for the compliment, but I'm kind of listening to something right now, and I don't know why you're not asking other people on the line. So at least with these headphones on, people can tell, yeah, he's listening to music. Ask somebody else. Another positive is the great battery life. I mean, my commute is probably somewhere like 3 hours every day, and I've gone a full week without ever having this thing indicate that the battery is low. So that 15 hours that's mentioned on the front of the box, yeah, I can verify these things have a very, very long duration. One final disadvantage of these headphones, and it's a pretty major one, is the fact that the tracking for the Bluetooth isn't stellar. There were many times I'd be sitting there listening to my stuff and I would turn my head and the sound would actually cut out. Now, largely what I listen to on my commute is podcasts, so I just thought, oh, it's their recording equipment, their microphone cut off. But then I heard actual bits of music that I know are perfectly fine. I would turn my head and I would again lose a little bit of the signal. And I even noticed if I put my iPod in my shirt pocket, if I'm jostling too much, like I'm running or something like that, again, this thing just doesn't seem to be able to track that very well. So that is a major disadvantage. But honestly, I think as long as I'm not running anywhere, listening with headphones on, I'm probably okay. And for the price tag, I'm very happy for these. One final advantage of these headphones is, and it's a bit nerdy, if you're someone like me who doesn't have a lot of hair and you've got these big things on your head, you kind of look a little bit like Lobot from The Empire Strikes Back. There's a marketing opportunity, Disney. So in conclusion, these Skullcandy Hesh 2 wireless headphones are really, really good. I'm very impressed. I mean, $100, I'm not going to argue. Sure, they've got their flaws, but I'm quite pleased with the end result. And yeah, that's my first headphone review. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.